Blizzard continues to be one of the worst companies in existence. This latest oopsie, however, has nothing to do with their employees. Now, this time they're actively attacking their players.
Blizzard recently updated their EULA, and within it, they clearly specify your use of the platform is licensed, not sold to you, and you hereby acknowledge that no title or ownership with respect to the platform or their games is being transferred or assigned, and this agreement should not be construed as a sale by any rights. Which basically means if you bought a Blizzard game in the past, you no longer own that game.
What's worse is that if you don't accept these terms, Blizzard then completely locks you out of your account, so you're unable to play your games anyway.
This is legally binding? Not really, as most EULAs are easily thrown out. Unfortunately, that also requires money and time that Blizzard knows that most people just don't have. So basically what we're saying is, don't buy Blizzard games.
As if you needed to be told that. Anyway, welcome to Necro News, the show where we cover the hottest gaming news from the last week. This week, we'll be covering LOL being LOL-worthy, Xbox players getting banned from Final Fantasy XIV, and information about the Tetris sequel that never happened.
So subscribe to Necro News and leave a comment and a like to let us know that you care.
So let's start with LOL being LOL-worthy. 32 players were suspended earlier this month during the Vietnam Championship Series.
Yep, that's 32 players. Apparently an anonymous player came to iTatao.vn. I probably butchered that, I'm sorry. But basically, it's a popular Vietnamese sports site, and they reported that 8 teams were summoned to Riot following a large match-fixing investigation.
And Riot takes that shit seriously, with all team members from Rainbow Warriors, GAM Esports, Team Flash, Team Secret, Vikings Esports, Cerebus Esports, MGM Blue Esports, and Team Wales being interviewed and recorded. Man, no one gets creative with their names. Anyway, they couldn't even go to the bathroom without being accompanied by guards. That's how serious they took this.
The translation I saw said guards, but I have to wonder if it was just like random Riot employees that had like nothing better to do.
I mean, maybe, but does it really matter?
Not really, it just seems a bit excessive. But anyway, it does seem like the investigations have been more or less resolved, as an update from March 29th stated that the playoffs will resume on April 3rd, with Cerberus Esports and MGM Blue being eliminated.
Ellie and I aren't into League of Legends or esports because we have a life, so we're not sure how big of a deal this is or isn't. If you are someone that doesn't have a life, however, let us know what your thoughts are on this situation.
Speaking of esports, last week was the PGL Major in Copenhagen for Counter-Strike 2, and it's in the news for something incredibly dumb.
An audience member managed to make it onto the stage during the Major and threw his hands in the air to celebrate. Shortly afterwards, he was then tackled by security guards into the tournament trophy that was prominently displayed on the stage, which then shattered it. Amazing. 10 out of 10. Great job.
But it gets worse. You want to know how? Because the now arrested stage runner was allegedly hired by a CS skin gambling platform, CSGO Empire. Why? Because one of their competitors was sponsoring one of the players at the Major.
It's like CS skin gambling cartel mafia fights. And that's funny. Xbox players have been unable to play the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV for over a decade. Recently, however, that changed and Xbox players have finally got to play with the rest of us.
Well, some of them at least, as it seems like Microsoft is banning anyone that uses the term free company in the chat. Why is this stupid? Because in Final Fantasy XIV, a free company is the same as a guild. Microsoft, however, assumes that it's basically like a, hey big boy, you want some free company? Wink wink.
Yes. Yes, I would.
Anyway, since Microsoft accounts are being banned, Square Enix can't do anything about it other than appeal to Microsoft, so it's sort of a tough luck situation for everyone. Our suggestion if you're playing on the Xbox is simply calling them FCs.
Or to simply not play the game because it's a terrible game, and, you know, yeah.
Says the one playing it last week.
Okay, shut up. In other news, it seems that I was right all along. Ellie, boomers, guys, Microsoft is going to make an Xbox handheld, like the Steam Deck. I'm calling it now, and it's going to have integrated Game Pass, and also like a Windows console, and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to blow Steam Deck out of the water. I'm calling it now. As Phil Spencer has all but confirmed the development of an Xbox handheld system in an interview with Polygon.
While Phil Spencer spoke about the various PC handhelds like the Steam Deck, He stated that what he would like to see in a possible Xbox handheld is to feel like an Xbox, such as having access to all your games and saves along with a compact version of the Xbox home screen, which is basically like a Steam Deck, essentially.
You're correct. Phil then stated that the Xbox hardware team is considering different hardware form factors. What does that mean? I don't know, you tell me. Sounds like it's a new hardware device though. Actually, nah, it's a fridge.
Huh?
Like the Xbox fridge that I asked if I could buy the other day.
It was surprisingly cheap, but no.
TimeSplitters is a game that our editor loves. A game that really paved the way for a lot of online FPS games, whether people know it or not. A game that is
forever dead.
Damn it!
Especially since the creator of the series has been so burned by the sudden cancellation of the newest game that he's likely done with the series.
Because of Free Radical getting killed only a few years after being reestablished, Steve Ellis, who's one of the original developers of TimeSplitters, stated, "It's probably the end of me being involved with TimeSplitters. I don't know what it would take to get me to want to go through all that again. It was a big letdown. Man, that sucks."
Additionally, he also weighed in on the leaked footage of the TimeSplitters games that looked like the Fortnite clone. According to Ellis, the footage wasn't actually what the game they were working on looked like, and it was just one of the many different concepts that they were trying out.
But don't worry, if you're a TimeSplitters fan, there is something you can do. TimeSplitters Rewind, a fan game recreation of the TimeSplitters multiplayer mode across all 3 games, has suddenly re-emerged with the first update video in over a year.
The project, while it does look good, is urging for volunteers as they're running into a lot of problems with dedicating their time to the project. The reasoning is because the industry is too difficult to work in between constant layoffs, a difficult job market, and at least for the TimeSplitters series, a constantly shifting landscape for the IP.
Hopefully that shifting is over now, as Embracer Group has stated that they are finished with restructuring. I'll hold my breath. A special thanks to Mastima for distilling this one down for us. If you hate gacha games,
like we do,
then you'll like this one.
For those of you who don't keep tabs on South Korean law, you may be unaware that South Korea is cracking down on gacha games and gacha mechanics in video games. Per a mandate from the South Korean's Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, companies are required to disclose the presence of what they call probability mechanics, and to disclose the drop rates of individual items.
Some time ago, we reported on the company Nexon being fined over 8 million USD for deceptive loot bot practices over a period of nearly 10 years. That's because the sneaky bastard secretly adjusted the drop rates for items over the years, with some rates being so incredibly small that it was effectively zero.
Yep, and while there's been an unsurprising amount of non-compliant ads being posted on Twitter, what we found to be really interesting are some of the rates that have been forcibly disclosed to the public because of the mandate.
Leon Y. Zhao, a researcher on gacha and video game law, posted on Twitter the drop rates for a loot box item in the game Teamfight Tactics. Suspiciously, we don't know the exact drop rate, but we do know that at its highest, a 1 in 10 million chance. That's some fucking bullshit.
That's not even the worst one. In another post, Leon showed the drop rates for a loot box item from EA Sports FC Mobile. Alright gamers, let's play a game. How low do you guys think this one will be? You've got 10 seconds, so place your guesses in the comments. Did you get it right? Because it's a whopping 0.0000026% drop rate. That's a 1 in 384.6 million chance.
Fucking EA! Fuck you! How are you lower than the fucking Powerball? Anyway, South Korea soon won't be alone in regulating probability mechanics, as Spain is potentially taking heavy measures like classifying loot boxes as gambling and banning anyone under the age of 18 from participating in gacha. Suddenly, the world looks just a little bit brighter. Nature is healing.
Our final story this week is about Tetris. At GDC 2024, Alexei Pajitnov, the creator of Tetris, did a panel showcasing a PowerPoint presentation of the prototype sequel to Tetris, Tetris Reverse.
In the panel, he went over the gameplay of the game, stating how instead of stacking the Tetris pieces, you would use them to eliminate blocks. There's no video footage, unfortunately, so these screenshots will have to do, though they did state that the video footage would be uploaded to the GDC website shortly.
There is no stated reason as to why the game never moved into production other than it was stalled due to a collaborator, the collaborator being Martin Durand. When asked about it, Alexei stated, "We finished the job, but in this case, production never started. The next stage never happened. Probably Durand had trouble with the Tetris company, and at some point he gave up."
So that's where this very short story ends, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll see the sequel one day, as it's probably one of the coolest concepts with Tetris I've ever heard of. But who's to say? What do you guys think? Would you play Tetris Reverse? Let us know in the comments. Would you?
I'd try it, but I don't think I'd be very good.
I mean, Tetris Sphere was fine. I don't know. Weird game. Tetris good. This week's Buried Alive Banger, a segment where we cover a game our community thinks hasn't had enough attention, isn't actually out yet, but it was only recently announced, and judging from the internet, no one is talking about it. The game is called Finding Frankie.
On the surface, it's basically your typical YouTube streamer bait. Essentially, it's 5 Fall Guys at Poppy's Ink Machine, but with a twist. Can you guess what it is based on the trailer? It's a horror parkour game.
So we looked, and there aren't any new games coming out this week. If you guys know of anything we missed, please let us know in the comments below.
And here's our schedule for next week. We'll be continuing Galarians and World's End.
And that's all we have for Necro News this week. If you like what we do here and want to keep up to date, consider subscribing to the channel. Also, as always, a big thank you to our channel members. You guys help us every day. If you like what we do and you want to help support the channel, consider becoming a member.
And we're still trying to raise funds for a new Live 2D model for myself, so if you'd like to help, click on the coffee link down below. Thank you.
That's all we have this week, so until next time everyone, goodbye.
Bye.